CNN national security commentator Mike Rogers. He's also the host of the new CNN series called Declassified. Mike, as a former congressman, as a former FBI agent, I can't believe I have to read something like that. I can't believe I actually have to state that being on a terror watch list does not put you in the category of the other bad guys who we won't sell weapons to. How is this happening?
Well, there's a big disconnect. There's also a list called Tide that there are some million names on. I think the criteria is not great. I hope that this is an opportunity, unfortunate as it is, to try to reconcile that. And so even the FBI investigating this individual for 10 months, that's a huge commitment on behalf of the FBI. They introduced confidential informants, meaning people that were in his pattern of life giving information back. They did surveillances. Apparently they did multiple interviews, about not only of him, but some of the people around him. That's a big investigation. With all of that, even their determination wasn't enough to get on the list. This is the time to review what it means to be on that list and how you would make sure that that's interlinked, so that there is, during that background check, a flag goes up that would allow the FBI to intercede or interview or make sure that that person has the opportunity. Even if it's a temporary postponement, if that was a medium place to be, I'd take that for a 72-hour postponement so people can get their arms around it. I think that would be a good compromise.
Some argue that it's not just a 72-hour postponement. There's a lot of cumbersome work, including probable cause and a hearing, a judge who's involved, and we have thousands and thousands and thousands of purchases a year, so that could be a pretty messy operation. I got to ask you this about the CIA director, John Brennan, who this morning said that despite all of our progress against ISIL on the battlefield and the financial realm, our efforts have not reduced the group's terrorism capability and global reach, and says, in fact, that the more we degrade ISIL, ISIS, the more they want to make a big, bold, loud statement, maybe inspire people or direct them, etc. So to that end, why is it so damn hard to do deep, deep dives into guys like Mateen? Because I'm compiling a list of all the stuff that we're finding out. He apparently has made all these awful comments, jihadist-like comments to coworkers. He wanted to bring a gun to his school and scared kids at school. He said that bin Laden was his uncle. He celebrated 9/11. He made Facebook posts. He requested to buy body armor all in advance of the attack. To me, I just don't understand how he could have been on, past tense, a watch list and dropped off without any residual historical flagging come up. Can you help me with this?
Yeah, I mean, and again, this is the big problem. And by the way, that CIA director's comments today, a little overshadowed by the president's visit, is pretty astonishing that they basically said we're not winning the fight against ISIS. They have both operational endeavors, meaning that they're going to control efforts into the West, which would also mean the United States, but likely Europe, as well as continuing their inspiration campaign to get people like Mateen to do it. I thought that was pretty stunning from the CIA director today, and hopefully that'll come out in the next couple of days. That's pretty worrisome to me that he was that aggressive about it. Secondly, your question is a great one to answer, and we've wrestled with this. He was a United States citizen that has due process rights under the Constitution. They have to be protected. That's why we need to look at these lists and find that standard that would be acceptable to everyone about these are the things that would get you on the list, and these are the things that would prevent you from doing other things, or at least slow you down from doing other things. We haven't come together as Americans on this. There's as many people on the other side saying, well, you can't do it at all because you're violating his constitutional rights as a citizen. So we're going to have to figure this out. Remember, he wasn't convicted of anything. And Americans do have the right under the First Amendment to express themselves, even if we don't like what they say. So we're going to have to reconcile this from a national security and a domestic security position that where everyone could get a comfort level about what this is going to look like, because you're going to have people on the list probably don't deserve to be there. I mean, the government does make mistakes. How do we, then we have to make sure there's a mechanism to get them off that list. At the same time, we need sure to make there's a mechanism to get them on the list, and that part I don't think we've worked out.
I got to say, Chairman, every time I speak with you as the former House Intelligence Chairman, there are a million things I want to ask you that I know you absolutely cannot answer. However, you've got a show that's premiering this weekend on CNN called Declassified, and I'm just curious as to how much stuff you're going to be able to unload that we have just never heard of before.
Well, if you love Spy versus Spy, you're going to love it. And what this is, it gives the opportunity to people who have been working in the shadows, risking their lives, collecting that little piece of information that might save a life, that might save a confrontation between two countries. In the first episode, and you're running some clips there, are exactly that. Here is a woman spy, the first one in Moscow, obtaining secrets on nuclear intentions of Russia in the 70s. Hugely important information. Many can say that this stopped a nuclear confrontation between the Soviet Union and the United States. And you get to hear it from the people who live these cases. And it's their moment to see their duty on our country and why they take these risks and what they do. I think if you like that Spy versus Spy, you're going to love to get to know Americans' heroes in the clandestine service.
And Mike Rogers, to the right of us on your screen, the President's Air Force One aircraft is now landing in Orlando. So I will say thank you to you. I'll also let our viewers know Declassified is this Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific here on CNN.